I'm Matt Sargent with ABC Acres in Hamilton, Montana. You caught me today. I'm finishing planting a flat of scarlet kale that will be starting in our greenhouse. But figured today would be a good chance to have a fireside chat about lunar planting, or planting with what we see in the sky, what we observe. And this is a very old concept. It's something humans have been doing since we started putting seeds in the ground, looking to the skies for guidance. And there's a lot of people that poo-paw the notion. They say it's woo. Personally, the last 6-7 years, I've been planting with just the lunar cycles, what the Farmer's Almanac has to say. And it makes sense to me, and I've noticed a more vigorous and healthier plants. Yeah, there have been times where I just needed to get seeds in the ground, and they still grew, but were they as healthy? Were they as productive? In my observations, they weren't. And the general principle, or the reason this works is, as Sir Isaac Newton observed and proved, that the moon's gravitational effect affects water and bodies of waters on our planet, and it affects the tides. And as such, it also affects the moisture content in the soil, and it also has an effect on sap rising or decreasing in plants. And so the basic principle of simple lunar planting is, if you're planting with the waxing moon, which is when the moon is increasing in size, there's increasing light from the new moon to the full moon, that annual flowers and crops that are above ground, leafy crops like scarlet kale or kale in general, your fruiting crops, anything above ground is going to be more vigorous because it's promoting more growth, more of that sap rising tendency, and that's even imprinting on the seed. Conversely, if you're planting from the dark moon to the new moon, from the new moon, or the new moon, yeah, and the waning moon, there's decreased moonlight, that promotes kind of root growth. So that's a good time to be planting bulbs, perennial and biennial flowers, as well as root crops. And you can take this a step farther, and we'll take a look at it in a second, but you can also take a look at how the Zodiac affects plant growth, and how where the moon is at in the Zodiac affects that. Hey, I'm back, and as you can see, I've got this nifty chart with the various signs of the Zodiac, as well as the elements that those signs are corresponding with, and the part of the plant affected by that element or that constellation. But before we jump into this, I want to touch base really quick and go back to the moon. And as we all know, the moon is a natural satellite of the planet Earth. And the theory behind working with this is that just like a man-made satellite is transmitting information back to Earth, the moon is transmitting the effect of these zodiac signs to the Earth, and that can imprint upon the seed or the fruit, and thus help for more vigorous plant growth. And before I really jump into this, I also want to acknowledge that there's not a lot of hard science backing this. There's some good science from Dr. Brown from Northwestern University showing that the signs of, or not the signs of the moon, but the moon phases waxing or waning does affect the moisture content in the soil. Gene Jevons, the author of How to Grow More Vegetables and Fruit Than You Ever Thought Possible, he does have some pretty good research showing that where the elements or where the constellations are in the moon affects the leaf growth or the fruit growth. And the Maria Thune Institute, who's been around since the 50s, has some pretty good research backing this up. That said, if you're into modern peer-reviewed science, you're not going to find a lot of this because it's hard to duplicate, and it's hard to do since this cosmos are always changing. It's hard to control all the variables that are out there. And in my estimation, it'd be hard to do something that is legitimate science that proves this right or wrong. But we'll dive into it a little bit deeper and just touch base. And earlier I was planting some kale. Later today I'm going to do some spinach and some lettuce, because not only are we in the waxing moon, the full moon's in just a couple days, but the moon is also in Pisces, which is ruled by the element of water, and that affects leaf growth. And so if we are planting all of our leafy vegetables and we do our subsequent cultivation of them, weeding around them, and our harvesting, that promotes a more vigorous plant. Will the kale still grow if you plant it when the moon is waning and in Aries? It'll probably grow, but it might be more stressed. It might not be as vigorous. From my observations, this is true. Whether or not that is because there's a placebo effect, and since I've put in the energy to look at all this stuff, that it's a healthier plant, whereas when I'm rushed and I say I just need to get seeds in the ground, or a storm's coming and I got to plant before the ground's too wet, I'm rushed and there's not that intent, so I don't have the placebo effect. Who knows? But I have noticed healthier plants when I pay attention to this stuff. And so, for example, say you're getting ready to plant tomatoes. I know that's one of people's favorite annual vegetable crops. You're going to want to do it in a waxing moon because it's above ground, and you're also going to want to do it when the moon is in one of the signs that are ruled by the warmth element, and that would be Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And if you do all subsequent work with that within those elements, you're going to have in theory, you're going to have the healthiest plants you can get, or healthiest tomatoes you can get. That said, if for whatever reason you need to cultivate or prune your tomatoes during a water sign, it's not going to kill your plants. It just might not be as good as they can be. And I will say, before we wrap up, I am a bigger fan of getting stuff done. Don't let this overwhelm you. If it's your first time planting or you've got a lot going on, get the seeds in the ground, grow something, enjoy the fruits of your labor. But as Masanobu Fukuoka said, and I'm not going to get the quotes perfectly verbatim, but the ultimate goal of farming is not producing a crop. It's the perfection and cultivation of the human spirit. And so if you've already got things going and you've got your food forests established and you're just looking to become a better gardener, exploring this realm is something that can bring more intent and maybe make it a more meditative state of being, help make you a better person. Because not only are we trying to improve the health of the land that we're working on, we're also trying to improve ourselves. And that's the basic summary. I'm sure there's going to be questions and comments. Hopefully not too much hate. If you're not into it, you're not into it. I think it works. You don't need to believe it. The forces are still there. But if you want to learn more about this, the Maria Thune Institute is a great source. They yearly release a biodynamic planting calendar that not only has all sorts of information about their studies and what they've seen works, but it also has a calendar that'll show you what stage the moon is in, whether it's in Aries or Taurus or Gemini, etc. And it has recommendations for what crops to work with on certain days of the week. As always, if there's any questions or comments, we'd love to hear from you. And until next time, happy growing.